in a nation as young, ambitious and diverse as India, policymaking often gets trapped in either political noise or abstract idealism. But what if we had a clear, actionable roadmap, not from a politician, but from a corporate leader, grounded in data, in real-world insights and India's cultural core? Today, we're speaking to Vaibhav Maloo, Managing Director of Enso Group, who's written a bold and structured vision for India's future in his new book, An Indian Manifesto. So from education and climate to digital governance and disaster response, his proposals span 54 ministries and are aimed at real reform. Let's get straight into this conversation about the India we could build if we got policy right. Thanks very much, Vaibhav, for joining us here on India Today. You come from the private sector, but you've written a deeply policy-focused book. What gap really in the public discourse are you trying to fill?
Through this book, I'm trying to show that Indian citizens too can voice their opinions and put forth the demands that they would like in a manifesto. Me being a proud citizen of India is trying to tell you all that through social media or through verbal discourses or through media, movies, if you're a politician, you can end this policy paralysis that is taking place in this country and to take it forward to the next level where we are at par with the developed world, we look at par with the developed world. We must act on the issues mentioned in this book, which I hope to actually have an impact through via top-down effect and bottom-up effect both.
Okay. Vaibhav, also your chapters, cut across ministries, education, disaster management, urban planning, to name a few. But what's the one ministry or sector where you feel India is at the greatest crossroads today?
I believe Ministry of Finance is something that is very powerful and can cause drastic changes in the way it handles foreign remittances and the rules regarding the same. RBI falls under the purview of Ministry of Finance, and the laws are created by the ministry, and some things like minimum limits on foreign remittances and foreign remittances by companies, the regulations thereof can be much better and faster to enable faster trade and commerce. I really think that Indians ought to think about, Indian government ought to think about stock exchanges of India being open to listings by foreign companies so as to do the reciprocal investments that foreigners do in India. If India is the fourth largest GDP in the world, Indians need to take control of where they want to put in their money as opposed to the government directing them to keep it in India. It should be a matter of choice. And this would also increase strength of Indian rupees, I believe, and that is the sole purpose of Ministry of Finance and rules made by the same ministry being very, very pivotal for the future of India.
Okay. Vaibhav, you also emphasize on culturally rooted and globally benchmarked solutions. So can you give us one idea, like a case in point from, let's say, Germany, Japan or Singapore, that India can actually realistically adapt now?
Looking at foreign countries and cities like Germany, Singapore, etc., we can first and foremost the basic thing, health and hygiene. If we have maintained cleanliness and animal-free streets and localities, we have achieved half the battle. We need to get progressive about the fact that these are not healthy sites and visuals for citizens of the country as well as foreign visitors who will go back and never want to come back for tourism or for business. So we have to clean up our cities and towns and villages of dirt, filth, open sewages, and maintain high standards of hygiene and health, give clean water supply and get our streets to be animal free.
And how do you see this book influencing real change? Is it a manifesto for citizens to actually demand better governance? Are you hoping for uptake within the system too?
Well, I hope my book is well read and people of India who are passionate about the country, who want to see it at par with the rest of the world, the developed world, the so-called developed world, need to read this book and take upon it themselves to sort of cause ripples while their social media or through verbal discourses. I hope journalists write and read this book and write on the terms of direction that this book takes India towards. I think it's quite comprehensive and is encompassing a lot of thoughts that I've had while traveling and living abroad. I hope policymakers too take a look at this book, and that will be the ultimate dream for me, someone like me who's written this book with India's welfare in mind, that policymakers do read this book and cause policy changes and end the paralysis that exists in the country, top down and bottom up. That's the goal of this book. Change is a must.
You know, at a time when the noise often drowns the nuance, an Indian Manifesto does come across as a rare blueprint, not just for governance but for hope, because it challenges our system but also shares faith in the ability to reform. Thank you very much, Vaibhav Maloo, for joining us here on India Today.